Hello friends and welcome. In today's video, all I want you to learn is that you need to respect the lane creeps, those on your team and those on the enemy team. Now I know you guys love math, so I'll pop up a little table here. So melee creeps do 21 damage, range creeps do 23 damage. The average hero damage is around 50. Now there are different attack types, it's not really the point of this video, but different attack types do different damage to different armor types. Again, not that important, but what this comes down to is that melee creeps actually do less damage to heroes than you would think. They do about 16 damage, while range creeps do about 11 or 12 damage. And a hero would do full damage to another hero, so 50 damage. Now, when you take into account that a hero might have about 2 armor, that's a pretty common starting value, that damage modifier ends up leading to some final damage values you see there at the right side of the table. So a melee creep with each attack does about 14 damage. Don't forget there's 3 melee creeps in a creep wave at the start of the game. Range creeps do about 10 damage, while a hero with about 50 damage would end up doing around 44 or 45 damage. Now what this means is that 3 or 4 creeps is about the same physical damage as a hero. So anytime there is a creep difference in the wave, you need to start being careful of aggressive potential if you're the side with less creeps. And if you have more creeps, you want to look for a chance to go aggressive. So in this game, I'm playing Marcy, who happens to be very good at making use of this little creep aggro stuff because of dispos. It repositions heroes. You can still do this if you don't have like a reposition tool, like any kind of stun or slow. But right there, I saw that the creeps, one creep of the enemy was about to die, so it can be as small as like a single creep difference. But his positioning was also pretty bad, and Hoodwink was way over here as well. So I knew that when we threw him in here, 2 heroes plus all this creep wave, this is just a nice chance to kill Mars. So that one's pretty straightforward. Right here though, here's another example. Hoodwink decides to try to do some creep dragging. Pretend we're in a different game. If I was a level 1 hero right now and she were a level 2 hero, I would still chase her right here because we have 4 creeps. She can't fight into this. Well, technically she could. She has 2 spells, I have 1 spell, but me and my creeps, we do about 100 damage every time we auto attack, and she does, I don't know, let's say 50. I don't know, what's her damage? Yeah, about 50. So in the end, she wouldn't really win this right-click trade, even with the spells, because spells are actually not as strong as right-clicks at the start of the game. So even though I'm level 2, she's level 1, of course I'm going to chase here. I want you guys to know, like, if it was level 1 to level 1, level 1 to level 2, I would chase if the enemy hero has 4 of my creeps after them. Now, because of those creep dragging shenanigans, you see here that we actually have some creep buildup. And so I actually go here. I mistime this a little bit though. When you're looking for aggressive potential, you want all of the enemy creeps to be dead because otherwise your creeps will kind of focus on the enemy creeps. And the only reason they'll switch to the, say, Mars in this case, is if Mars attacks one of us, then that draws creep aggro. So long as he only tries to run away, our creeps won't do anything. So you see here, I throw him back. I get 1 creep killed, and I don't know, I must have just missed this last creep. So 4 of our creeps are still killing this other creep. 2 of them are hitting the Mars now. But because some of them are a little distracted, we don't get as much damage as we could have here. So I mistimed that a little bit. You want to be careful with that. But that is a great time to go. Not after the last creep dies, but right before it dies, because the enemies think, oh, I have a little bit more time here. And then you throw them back, you slow them, you stun them, whatever. You get that last creep killed, and then all of your creeps target the enemy hero. Now, even though we didn't kill him, we got a great trade. And guess what? We still have a creep advantage. They're dying right now, but then the next creep wave is going to join. So we have a bunch. So I still want to look for an opportunity to be aggressive here, and they need to be careful. So same deal. I see that last creep dying. Honestly, I meant to go a little sooner. I think I messed up the click. I throw it back. This is if we had 4 heroes down here, pretty much. With the amount of creeps we have, it's 4 heroes attacking Mars. Many people would recognize that. You know, if no creeps were here, they had 2 heroes, we had 4 heroes, they would back off. They wouldn't walk up. But for some reason, even at Immortal, people don't respect the creep difference. In this case, they're probably just not used to Marcy throwing people around. They're not respecting the creep difference, and so we're going to get a pretty easy kill here. I admit, they totally whiffed their spells on both sides. But I swear, it wouldn't have mattered too much. Maybe we don't kill them, but it still would have been a great trade for us. He can only run away. If he tries to fight, all our creeps guarantee that we win the trade. Now, I start to walk away, but actually, we still have a bunch of creeps, and Hoodwink is not that strong, so I just do the exact same thing, throw her into this creeps. With the amount we have, it's now like 5 heroes down here. Look how quickly she dies. It's not all just Drow and I. These creeps are doing a ton of damage, so always keep your eyes out for these opportunities. Just to be clear, this concept is strongest at the start of the game because that's when heroes are the weakest and creeps are relatively strong against heroes. The longer the game goes, the less that happens. And so even though, like right here, I have 4 creeps, I'm just a position 5 Marcy, except I was doing pretty well. In hindsight, I probably could have fought Spectre here a little bit, but gut feeling was like, actually, this is no longer as good. At this point, Spectre does a lot with her power treads, her faster attack speed, and I didn't have as much. Now, actually, in this case, I did just pick up a broom handle, and I kind of underestimated that. I think I could have fought her here. I'm going to give myself the benefit of the doubt, and that is that if Spectre were to run at me here, it must mean that another hero is on the way, and it does kind of end up being the case where Witch Doctor ends up popping over. But you can kind of see through all this, they're not really doing much damage to Spectre at this point of the game because Spectre has a lot more armor. She's relatively much stronger, has better items, more regen. At this point, the creep advantage is not so much, and it's only like 8 minutes into the game. So it's really in these first 5 to 10 minutes of the laning stage. The more creeps that build up, the better. Spectre happens to be pretty good against them with like dispersion, stuff like that. But other heroes are weaker to creeps, so maybe the window goes a little further, but just keep that in mind. I'm really talking about the early laning stage. One last example to show you guys kind of the best case, worst case scenario. Lich walks up too far as that last creep was dying, so honestly, Lich probably would have died here even if there wasn't a creep advantage against the Lich, but this is a particularly bad time to walk up. And with this given creep advantage now, they can then play aggressive against the Necrophos, and then they manage to kill him as well. And then all of these creeps run under tower and start to die off before either of the laners return. That was a big creep wave. That was about 6 creeps. And you can see from the XP per minute, there's now a massive difference where Lich and Necrophos are down here. And then even Tusk is ahead of the Necrophos as well as the Medusa. So you want to be really careful of that when the creeps build up. Well, if you're the team with the creeps building up, you look to be aggressive, you look to make this happen. If you're the team that you see a bunch of enemy creeps building up, you just be careful, survive under your tower, get all the creeps killed off so that you get all the XP at least, even if you miss a couple last hits. You don't want to die and experience what just happened here. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Keep this in mind. It's really powerful, especially in those first 5 minutes, to get an advantage from these kills, these good trades when you have a lot of creeps. And then once you have the advantage from golden XP, then you can look to fight maybe against extra creeps. But especially if the equilibrium is even, you have the advantage now because you've taken some good trades earlier. So this can be really lane winning, and more often it's very lane losing when people take bad trades. So keep an eye out for this. Don't let it happen to you. Win some easy games that way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.